Howdy folks, here's a video to explain my proficiency-based grading system in my classroom, which is probably different from the traditional 100-point system that you're used to in most of your other classes. So some reasons why I made this shift is in the points-based system, I never liked the idea of averaging a student, where we're kind of punishing a student for not knowing something at the beginning of a unit or a lesson. And that maybe that bad grade, that initial quiz score on a skill or a subject is still averaged in to their end of the unit score, or maybe they do get it and maybe they do get a good grade on the test. It's still being pulled down by a bad score at the beginning. Or students can avoid doing things altogether just by trying to earn extra credit, right? Oh, I bombed this test, so instead of redoing the test and like actually learning something, I'll just do something for extra credit. It's not actually a reflection of learning. So I don't think the points-based system is a good reflection of learning or growth. It's more of a reflection of like how many education points can the students get. So what I'm trying to do is use a system that focuses on homework and assignments as practice and as evidence of skills, not just on assignment completion themselves. And in this scenario, extra credit isn't needed because students can do and redo skills or assignments based on those skills to improve their score. And in this way, I'm really trying to convey here's the specific skill we're working on, and here's where you're at in your progression towards our learning target. So how that breaks down is I'll give a much more simplified scale for every assignment or every skill that we're working on. So 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 0 just means I don't have any evidence yet. 1 means you're just starting out. If you need to make that conversion in your mind, that would be like a 60% where you're just barely passing. You've shown me some effort, but you're not quite getting there yet. 2 would be like you're approaching our target goal. 3 is where I want all my students to get. That means here's our learning skill, and you have shown me specifically, I have evidence that you can do this thing. And 4 is kind of that above and beyond level. So if you need to make the conversion in your head about what these numbers mean to our traditional system, that's approximately what they look like. So, but there are some problems with this when we get into PowerSchool, is PowerSchool reflects grades, and it likes to reflect assignments, and my proficiency-based system doesn't do either, really. So I'll show you an example here. Not this example, we're getting there. Something like this. So here's my grade book for our first unit, where those are the assignments in purple, and this 1.1 making an inference is not actually an assignment, it's a skill that we're working on. So this student is at the beginning level for this. We'll practice each one of these skills multiple times so they have an opportunity to take my feedback, look at it, redo an assignment again the next time we come around, or redo a skill again, and hopefully improve their grades. But also these grades 1, 2, 3, and 4 don't line up with traditional grade calculations, which is what I'm forced to be doing. So in a traditional model, this is what a student might look like: a 1 out of 4, 3 out of 4, 2 out of 4, 2 out of 4. How I would calculate this, if it was a traditional system, was this student would get an F, right? 25%, 75%, and 250% average out to be a 50%, which is a failing grade. When I look at that, I see that this student is proficient in one target, they're close, they're developing towards proficiency in 2 others, and they've really just started on our target number 1. So I would give this one student a C kind of based on this calculation chart. And so to do that, to get an A, the student needs to have mostly 4s and 3s, right? They need to be at that proficient level or that above proficient. To get a B, they need to have mostly proficient with nothing lower than developing. To get a C, they would need to have something mostly 2s or higher with nothing lower than a 1. And then to get that D, you just have to show me an attempt at all of these. And maybe you have some 2s or 3s, but not a majority of 2 or 3s. And then if you have an F, that just means I don't have enough evidence to assess each student in our learning goals. Last thing I'll show you is my website. It's mrrestad.com. And if you take a look at our open disclosure for my English classes, I have a link to our proficiency scales. And this is what I'm using to grade each one of my students in each one of the skills that we're working on. So this is our first concept that we're working on, and here are the different levels of where students are at in that learning target. So they can kind of see, oh, I got a 1 in our first unit, or in my first skill. This is where I am. And this is what I need to do to improve my score. And then this is what I need to do to get to the target level. So if you do have any questions, please reach out and contact me. Here's my contact information. Yeah, I know it's weird. I know it's different. But ultimately, I think it's a better representation of what students are actually learning, not just how many points a student can arbitrarily get in class. Thanks for watching.